welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we'll be looking at a Boros aggro deck. This deck went 8-0 in a Magic Online Championship qualifier tournament played by Bayesta93. We'll link to that in the description. And it is just a very aggressive white deck with a little bit of red only for this card, Heroic Reinforcements, which pretty much tells you everything you need to know about the deck. Create 2 1/1 soldier tokens until end of turn. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain haste. The deck is willing to play 9 red sources just in the hopes of getting to cast Heroic Reinforcements on turn 4, which is a little sketchy, but it worked out often enough for them to post an excellent record in a very competitive field. So then we also have Conclave Tribunal, which for 4 mana, but not really 4 mana, tapping creatures you control can exile target non-land permanent. This is the only interaction, the only way to remove something from your opponent's side of the field, and there's only 3 of them, so that tells you just how aggressive the deck wants to be. There's plenty of knights with Dauntless Bodyguard, Knight of Grace, History of Benalia, and Benalish Marshal. There's of course Adanto Vanguard, being a vampire soldier, but that indestructible pay for life has proven to be very, very helpful. Healer's Hawk made the cut. I suppose you have to win races somehow, and there's a bird here to help you do it with a little itty bit of life gain and evasion. Skymarcher Aspirant. Once you ascend, it flies, otherwise it's a 2/1 for 1 mana, and Legion's Landing, which can flip and be a mana source. So, I'm excited to try this deck out. In the sideboard, well, I'm not going to be playing sideboarded games, sorry about that, but we can talk about it a little bit if you would like to play sideboarded games. Baffling Ends, I can think of those needing to hit Wild Growth Walkers, and I can think of those also needing to hit Runaway Steamkin. So I'm guessing against Golgari, and I would suspect against red that these need to be played. Also mono blue, that Curious Obsessed Creature, I think it would be good to at least have something to get rid of it, but maybe you don't care enough in against mono blue. You let them draw all the cards they want as long as you are smashing their face, so that could be okay. Tocatli Honor Guard is definitely a good card against Golgari or any decks that run the Explorer package. Merfolk Branchwalker, Jade Light Ranger, Ravenous Chupacabra all bow to the Honor Guard. A response Resurgence, I'm guessing, would be in the case of worrying about Lyra Dawnbringer, as that is the card I can think of most needing to be responded to. Make a stand if you know your opponent's going to play Ritual of Soot, or Cleansing Nova is where you would want Make a Stand. Ajani likely comes in against any deck that can play a bunch of sweepers. It can help you recover from those sweepers and give you something that isn't blown up by a sweeper. Settle the Wreckage, what a ninja move. This must be for the token or the token match or the mirror, another very aggressive deck. And then 2 Experimental Frenzies. I would bring these in, I think, against almost any deck where we expected the games to go longer, that they would have enough removal or blockers to shut down your threats, and they may not have enchantment removal for an Experimental Frenzy. So that includes just about any match that isn't a race. I wouldn't bring this against red, I don't think, but I would probably bring it against Golgari and all manner of control decks. Probably not against tokens, that's also probably a more racy situation. And then Banefire comes in against anybody who would cast a Settle the Wreckage against you. Let's go play some games and see how the deck does. Alright, looking at this hand, we have a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3-drop. We're on the draw, so it's more likely we will find a land. If we find a red land, we'll get Heroic Reinforcements, and we have a removal spell. So this is a keep. We need some sweet draws. That is a good one. Having the right amount of lands, especially a red one, will go a long way. Our opponent's going to open on an Opt while we open on Skymarcher Aspirant. Opt could be all manner of control decks, but the Drake deck is probably the most popular thing, and indeed, Goblin Electromancer takes to the battlefield. So the play is going to be the Adanto Vanguard. There aren't really other plays to make. We'll attack with the Aspirant first. We'd be happy to trade it for the Electromancer, since the Electromancer does really fuel our opponent's deck quite a bit. This matchup, I think that this is a matchup that the white aggro deck wants to play, because our opponent's Phoenix game might be too slow. We might actually be able to overpower it and punish the opponent for spending their turn using a bunch of draw spells. And it does look like in this case they will be able to Phoenix us on turn 3, which is the amazing draw that the deck is looking for, especially on the play. But the question is, do they attack? Oh, they do. Alright, so they have decided to race. And one thing about this deck, it doesn't seem to mind signing up for a race. So, History of Benalia and Adanto Vanguard. Let's get the job done and make the opponent see if they can kill us as fast as we can kill them with our heroic reinforcements coming up. Next turn, we could also not reinforce and instead play a Bodyguard and a Conclave Tribunal if we are under too much pressure. Our opponent will probably keep digging the heck out of their deck. Will they find another Arclight? That remains to be seen. They found a Lava Coil for a Knight. And another Electromancer. And the damage keeps coming. I do think that it is wise for us to slow down here. Oh, wow, another History of Benalia. Well, we could go to 8, play the other History of Benalia, play the Dauntless Bodyguard, and play the Tribunal. Our opponent could put us at 6 with the Goblin Electromancers, but then we untap and cast Heroic Reinforcements, and I don't think my opponent can live. Let's see. That would be 1, 2... This would go off, so... How much would be attacking for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, our opponent would have one turn where they might be able to kill us. They don't have that many spells for a maximized velocity Drake, but it may be enough. Anyway, I think I'll take the risk. I'll go for the flashiest possible play. Let's target one of our knights. And let's Conclave Tribune. Take that away and pass the turn. Radical idea. It better be something very radical. Our opponent, if they find 2 Arclights, can completely kill us, but now they're out of blue mana, and they don't have an Arclight in the graveyard yet. Okay, they have one more blue. And it's not an Arclight Phoenix. And they attack. Wow. Well, they probably felt really good about themselves for a minute there. They're about to feel a lot worse. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So they might be holding a removal spell. But it doesn't matter when they meet heroic reinforcements. Yeah. Negative 11. Yep. One is sixtum. Excellent. This hand is on the play. We'll need to draw land, but we keep it. It's not great to have 2 Conclave Tribunals, to be honest. Sometimes you need them in certain games, but they do kind of mess up your aggressive draws. Okay, looks like another Phoenix deck. Excellent. As long as we draw land, this should be cake. But we'll see. Sure. Discovery. They're looking for Phoenix cards to throw in the graveyard, and wow, they got lucky enough to hit one. That never seems to happen to me. Uh-oh. Short on mana. Missing that 3rd land. And an Enigma Drake. So they have a blocker. There's that land. Wow. The difference it would have made. We can play the Marshal. We can play the History. It does feel like I do have to get something else on the board. I could also Tribunal and just take the Drake, then make my opponent find something else to play. I guess that's not terrible. I just wish I could deploy more threats too. But this means that they do have to keep putting things on the board, and I'm getting in damage in the meantime. And it's not like they'll find something more threatening than the Drake. It just grows and grows and grows. Okay, Drake Part 2. Drake the sequel. Double Drake, all the 3-drops. Man. Do we do it again? It was good enough last turn, why change it this turn? I could also be attacking through it with the Benalish Marshal, but I don't want to leave them on the table. And now we don't have a choice, but the Marshal will have to step up. Because when the Marshal dies, sadness. Alright, well, our 4th land is a little off, a little bit late. Let's go for History. The opponent then will probably play a bunch of spells to bring back the Phoenix. We'll make another Knight, and then the Marshal. If they don't kill that Knight, we'll threaten to crush them. I do want to save the Marshal for when I have more creatures on the battlefield, and when I can get in for lethals. I don't want to put it out there, get one attack in, and then potentially die. Potentially have it die. The discovery continues. Will they find an... Wow, they did it twice. How do they know the top card of their deck? Oh my lord, that's pretty lucky. That feels pretty lucky to me. Oh man. Will the last card be an Opt or a Shock? Okay, they discard an Opt, it must be a Shock. Or they just have more Opts. Warlord's Fury. Okay. Opt would have been better, right? I mean... Yeah, you don't need First Strike. Alright, you've got birds. Right. And you're attacking. Do I block? Not yet. Now the lands are just falling. Falling from the sky, it's brutal. Alright, let's try to hold out for one more turn of Benalia Mania. I don't want to attack, I don't want the Arclights to be able to trade with anything. But the opponent might just have a removal spell for the Aspirant, and I could be dead. I mean, they've seen so many cards. It would be hard for them not to. Now, at the end of the day, Magic is still draw lands, win games. Well, if they have it, they're certainly taking their time. Beacon Bolt discarded. It must be a shock, right? Right? Crash Through would also grant trample. Yeah, they haven't crashed through. Fury. Okay. Just waiting for my Skymarcher to die. Just waiting. Okay. They must be pretty tilted if they knew what they were looking for. I mean, yeah, I've got a block. No choice. Oh, wait. I should have taken it. Ah. I should have taken it. I should have gone to 1. I bet I lose because of that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna lose because oh my god. Horrible. Horrible. No excuse for it. If I had just taken it and gone to 1. Oh my god. Worst Magic player alive. No. I don't know what they're doing. I'm just going to leave. Shame. Such shame. This is a weird hand. Let's try it. Our opponent takes a mulligan. We'll play this tap now. Obviously, then we don't have to pay 2 life later. A 1-drop off the top, but then we get to go 2-drop, 1-drop, and reinforcements if we draw a land. So, what does our Temple Garden playing opponent have? Legion's Landing. Weird, and they're not willing to pay life, or they just drew that. But that is still, a little sketch. Feels like they're too afraid to pay life. You pay life. When it comes to casting your spells, you pay life. There's, of course, exceptions to every rule, but in general, don't be afraid to pay that life. Make that payment. Benalia is here. Got night-on-night action. Let's get Heroic up in this. What you got? I don't know if I've ever done the heroic into heroic draw in my life. So this could be glorious. And here comes some damage. Down to 8. Down to 8. So they'll definitely get another knight here. Now, can they play something else to super stabilize the board right now, is the question. Can they make a bunch more creatures? Another history. I mean, how do you mess with that? Do they attack with the 1/1? If you don't plan to block with it, perhaps you should attack. You would gain a life, but in this case, nope. Alright, so Heroic Reinforcements grants haste to all of your creatures, so we'll play another Bodyguard. I'm actually not worried about my Knights because in single combat they will handle this just fine, so I'll protect a token, I guess. What could the opponent... I guess you have March of the Multitudes, but you're not going to play it here. A Pause for Reflection would be a total tilt, I have to say. And it is a card I added as a one-of into an elf deck that got 7 wins in my Color Pie challenge on Twitch. And it did save me a game. And every game counts when you're trying to get to 7 wins. Hiya! That's gonna be lethal. So you better have good tricks. They're touching cards. What's happening? Perhaps they have a quest to cast spells and they want to cast the March to check it off. Uh-huh. So, blocks? Game over. All right, we've got some creatures and some 3 and 4 drops that we might not be able to cast, but these are just hands that you play with. What you got? Opponent's gonna check their hand a little longer. Yep, but they're keeping it. Summon forth the hawk. Paka. Yeah, your 1-drop is fancier than mine. I don't deny it. But we found a land, which is what we need. Green and white again. Let's see what this flavor brings us. Is it going to be like the Jade Light Ranger thing? Shauna. Can't be the target of abilities, which means we can't kill it with anything, even Conclave Tribunal. That's an enchantment ability, that's why it can't work. And +1/+1 for each creature, so could be a massive, massive threat in the near future. So I like to hold my red source back because this is the only card we cast with it, and I don't want my opponent to see it coming. You want this to be a surprise. So we're going to play another white source. Now, do we play the Benalish Marshal or the History of Benalia? And I like playing the Marshal here because with reinforcements coming next turn, I think that that's going to be very strong sequencing. It also lets me attack with my little lifelinky vampire this turn, and I don't think my opponent wants to block with a 2/2 Shauna. I think they want Shauna to grow bigger. And here's Shalai. So they have a 3/3 and a 3/4. We'll play out our Clifftop Retreat. We could go for Benalia Skymarcher, or we could reinforce now. The tokens would be 3/3s, plus it pumps the rest of us to 3/3s. Marshal becomes a 4/4, so there are no good blocks on the Marshal. So I'm 100% behind this play. 100% behind that one. Here comes all the things. Healer Hawk is an easy block. And Shauna, do you trade? Yes, you do. Okay, get you off the field. We still have to get by Shalai somehow, but with our opponent at 5, I'm hoping that going super wide will get us there. We're not out of the woods, though. Our opponent could certainly come back. A Tristani, for example, would be a huge problem. Even at 31-5, we can't be too comfortable. Our opponent may well have the more powerful cards in their deck than we have in ours. I would have thought if they had a Tristani, they would have slammed it. But here's a Benalia. And a pass. So right now we get 2 damage through with an attack, which is not nearly enough for me. So it's time to sit back and rebuild for a little while. We'll play our own Benalia. The Ascend from the City's Blessing means this flies, but our opponent still has a Shalai, so it's not going to work out. Our opponent has their own Marshal, and this game is going to start getting silly. They play Galta. Alrighty then. Well, let's not slow down in here. Past that turn, our opponent's Benalia is going off. But we can take some hits. My plan is to be wider than they are, which maybe we can do it. Drawing another heroic reinforcements off the top would be clutch. And they are at 5. We only need to sneak a few bodies through, especially if we draw another Benalish Marshal or heroic reinforcements. Knight of Autumn. Life or destroying a history? Did they destroy the one with the anthem? They did. So they were afraid of the anthem going off. And they play out 2 creatures. That's a good turn. Oh, they are attacking. They're thinking about attacking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures versus 7 creatures? Yeah. Well, I should probably make some blocks that don't cost me anything. So if I block like that, for example, I lose 1 knight, they lose 1 knight, and we're still even. I think a history off the top still wins me or a reinforcements off the top will still take it. Yeah, it would. But any other block I get 2 for 1 on, so I think this is fine. Not the draw we're looking for. I'll hold it back and make my opponent have to think about cards like Settle the Wreckage. Now they can start pumping with Shalai, but again, my plan is to get wider than them. I know I probably can't get taller. Oh no. They've been able to draw their way out of this very well. It must be said. It must be said. And here comes a 14/14 Trampler, or does there. Now, because of our opponent's lower life total, they're playing it much more cautiously. Because they do know if we can go wide enough, we can get them. But I can't throw away any bodies. I can't make any bad attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm up by 1 creature. I need to be up by at least 2 and probably 3 to even consider attacking. So let's pass the turn. And hope our opponent starts drawing some bricks. If I'm my opponent, though, I'm attacking with Galtas. I'm ending the game as quickly as I can, because in the long term between First Fort and top decks, I should be able to out creature you. And the longer you wait, the more likely you are to die. Alright, they're holding their card, probably planning to use Shalai. That is another land. So right now, we would get our opponent to 1. We would not kill them. Therefore, we cannot attack yet. Let's pass the turn. Hold on. Yeah. Here comes the Tokes. Opponent might be considering a massive attack, but that would be really hard to beat us with because of lifelink, because of chump blocking, and because we could turn around and attack them back. Here's a Pelt Collector for 1 mana. And, oh, wow. So, they've drawn 2 straight creatures off the top, but they're still not attacking. They're giving us chances we don't deserve. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it never hurts to double check. Alright, we'll get a creature this turn. And we'll have another one coming up. So if they brick here and don't play another creature, the mass attack should be able to do it. They don't have any lifelink currently on the board. It's a good reason, honestly, to attack with Amara. It's a good reason to attack with Amara, just to get a lifelinker on the board to make me attack them back with more things. and they're still not attacking me. All right. Then it's possible we have them. I'm dead to some removal spell or something like that, but honestly, the longer the game goes, the more likely I should lose anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Obviously, a March of the Multitudes too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 13. See? Miscounted. All right, my Legion landing is gonna flip anyway, so let's make a creature. And let's go for broke. If they have March of the Multitudes or a trick, we'll lose. But I think the long game is one that we lose, so we have to go for it, in my opinion. They're touching cards, making me nervous. Ah, they went to blocks. Now we'll wait for the blocks to be set and see if they are rolling some removal spell to the very end. Or some fog, some anything. Oh man, the sweat. The epic blocking sweat. Damage. They all die except for the 3 who sneak through to emerge victorious. Glory to the Boros Legion. Fist in the air. Holy cow. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you'll give the deck a try. Look in the description for the deck list, the deck credit, and other links that you may find useful. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.